Now you gotta check and see if it's actually recording. Dude, the skin. Hopefully you're understanding that it's pretty straightforward. I don't have a lot of information outside of the PowerPoint to talk about the skin. I'm just kind of walking through it for you and recording these lectures. So we've done the epidermis lecture. We've done the dermis lecture, which also included sources of skin color. Now, what I have left, I think, are 2 more lectures. This lecture will be about the accessory organs of the skin, so it's not the epidermis, dermis, or hypodermis, but it's going to be the hair, oil glands, sweat glands, and nails. They're pretty straightforward. This is such a straightforward chapter. I love it. They're not all this straightforward. And we'll have another one. It'll be the functions of skin and some wound healing, and then some disorders of the skin cancers, which you kind of already talked about, and skin cancer and burns. So that's what I'm thinking. So right now you're in chapter 5, lecture 3. So we are doing accessory organs, and again, pretty straightforward. Hold on. This is what I get for recording on a Sunday. Okay. Let me get myself teeny weeny and ready up here. Into PowerPoint mode. Okay, accessory organs. I'm going to try not to itch my nose. I'm going to pause. Sorry about that. I had to pause because there was just a little too much going on. Oh, and there still is a little too much going on. All right, well, we're going to power through this. Accessory organs of the skin. What's the first one up? Let's see. Hey, come on. Is hair. So hair has 2 components, okay? Hair has... Oh, this is just talking about all the different types. All right, we have hair as one type of accessory organ, and hair is actually going to have 2 components. It's going to have the actual hair structure and then the structure of the hair follicle. So it is a 2-part deal. We have oil glands. We have 2 types of sweat glands. Eccrine is the most numerous one. That's the one we'll talk about. We'll talk about sweat for a minute. Most numerous is eccrine. And then there's apocrine. I'm not talking about earwax. You know all about it. And then we have the nails, and we would be lost without our nails, because how would I pick my nose? And hair and nails are both made from the same structure, which is just crazy to me. They're both made, where did my pen go? From keratin. What? Yeah, man. That's crazy. Oh my gosh, my nose is so itchy. I'm trying to. Okay, hair. So what can we say about hair? Hair is composed of dead cells. It's dead, right? And we mess around with it if we're able to. Not all of us have a good head of hair. I have a hair on my arms. I'm a super hairy person. You don't have hairs on the palms of your hands and of your feet, or on your fingers. You don't have it on your lips either. You might have it over your lip, but not on your actual lip. Thickness and distribution. We all have different types of hair. Some is thin, some is curly, some is flat, and that has to do with the shape of your hair follicle. And like I said, at the bottom of every hair is a nerve ending. It's called the hair root plexus, and it can detect if there's like a bug, not even on your skin, just on your hair. And then we had that erector pili muscle associated with the hair follicle that is able, when you're cold, to contract and yank that hair in an upright position so that you have goosebumps. All right, so let's check out this hair. The part of the hair that is above the skin is called the shaft. The part of the hair below the skin is called the root. And you have the hair follicle is kind of its housing, and that is below. It's in the dermis. Okay. So let's see. We first have And I just want to make sure that I tell you everything I need to tell you. Okay. So here I have the outer part of the hair is the hair shaft, and then as it's going down into the hair follicle, it is the hair root. So I have, as I'm coming down, this little guy here. This is kind of the outermost swelling of the hair is the hair bulb. All right. So the hair bulb is, when you yank at a hair and the bottom part kind of has a little blob on it, that is the hair bulb portion. And this is where I find melanocytes for giving me color, pigment. Well, not so much as for me anymore because I'm getting gray hair. And I have the bottommost layer. Let me see. I know this is hard to do this fine writing. This bottommost layer on the hair is going to be the hair matrix, and the hair matrix is what makes the hair. All right, this is ticking me off. So the hair matrix makes the hair, and I have melanocytes adding color, and I have kind of this in the base of this swelling, that's the papilla, where I have blood vessels coming in and out, little capillaries in there. I think that's all going on in the bulb. When I look at a hair, there's the 3 regions. So this is actually looking at the hair follicle, hair follicle, hair follicle. Then starting this purple layer here, the hair itself has 3 regions. It has region number 1, region number 2, and then the middle is region number 3. The outermost part of the hair is the cuticle, right? And you guys with your split ends have a damaged cuticle. So when you have split ends, that means that your cuticle is damaged. All right, I'm trying to write that. The cortex is the next layer in, and then the medulla is right in the middle of the hair. Centermost part of the hair. So of the hair itself, I have the shaft, I have the root, I have the 3 parts to it, the cuticle, the cortex, the medulla, and then the base of the hair at the hair bulb, I have the hair matrix containing actively dividing cells, and I have the melanocytes adding the pigment to it. And then I have this little swelling of the papilla where I will have blood vessels. Now, we have the erector pili is associated with the hair follicle. That's this guy right here. And that's what will contract and pull hair follicle and hair up. I'm just going to say upright. And then we have associated also with this hair follicle is this nerve ending. So the hair root plexus is free nerve ending. Detecting if there's something on your hair, like a bug. H-A-I-R. Okay. Detecting if there's something on your hair. So that's kind of hair. Let's see what else do we have. So the hair bulb. I have the hair bulb is on the follicle. The hair root receptors, the hair matrix. I mean, this is what's making the hair. And pushing it outward. I have the erector pili, and then the very base is the blood supply. Oops. Ooh, how did I do that? I need to move that. No. I'm trying to grab that window. There we go. Bring it back. Okay. Oh, so here's more pictures. Bigger blow up of the bulb with the base of the hair matrix, the melanocytes, the papilla area with the blood supply, and all of that going on. Okay, types of hair. Oh, they have fine hair covering the majority of your skin. That's vellus. And then you have like this terminal, coarser hair, your eyebrows, your scalp, maybe your mustache. You have axillary pubic hair. Those are also terminal hair. And it grows, that's cool, about 2 millimeters a week. And you lose about 90 scalp hairs a day. Oops. Well, I don't care so much about the different hair growth, but there's growth, regression, and resting. Whatever. Melanin in your hair matrix will give you some color. I don't have too much else to say about hair, I'll be honest. It's just the parts of the hair, the parts of the follicle, that sort of thing. All right, so now we have glands, and there's 4 different types of glands. I'm not going to be talking about earwax glands. I'm not really going to be talking so much about the apocrine sweat glands in your axillary and genital areas. That's that musky odor that you make, right? Musk is animal sweat. But eccrine is usually the body temperature regulation. And then we have our oil glands on our hair follicles. So, okay, I was like, let me just see, is there, I don't say anything about oil glands. So let's see. Obviously this table is a big deal. We have oil glands. Oil glands, distribution, and where you have hairs, because it's associated with largely in lips as oil glands. I find that very weird. Large. Mostly connected to hair follicles. You don't have hairs in your lips. Okay. I'm struggling with this distribution because I don't know of that. I agree with it. Okay. The location of these oil glands is the dermis. They're attached to a hair follicle. And the function of oil is to keep your skin pliable. Pliable means like not split, right? Because what happens in the winter? You get split skin, you get a breach to the barrier, you have increased risk of infection. So it's keeping the water loss, preventing water loss by keeping things pliable. And what is in oil? Oil is fats, cholesterol, proteins, and some salts. So it's mostly fats, right? Because fats are oils. But the big deal here is to know that this is connected to a hair follicle. It does not have its own pore. Sweat glands are located in the dermis, but they have their own pore to exit to the surface of the epidermis. All right, and they're all over the body, especially forehead, palms, and soles, right? Sweaty palms, because you have a lot of sweat glands in your palms. And what's in sweat? So sweat is mostly water and ions. I have some nitrogenous waste. Urea, uric acid, ammonia is going to be nitrogenous waste. It's not our main way of getting rid of nitrogenous waste. So this, I hate that as a function. We don't, we rely on our kidneys more for waste removal, but you can have a little bit in the skin. I just don't like it. Its main function is to regulate body temperature, to have that evaporative cooling. So when it dumps the water on the surface of your skin and that evaporates, that pulls heat away. That's what evaporative cooling means. Pulls heat away. H-E-A. I'm trying to write the word heat. Okay. That's my eccrine. This is the main guy that I care about, and my oil glands. So ear, that's in your ear. That's gross. Why do we even have earwax? I don't know. It really grosses me out. The apocrine sweat glands are active once you hit puberty, emotional stress, sexual excitement. We have a lot more lipids and proteins, a lot more odoriferous odor, and they're also dumping into hair follicles. Interesting. I care mostly about the sebaceous and the eccrine ones, and we're going to leave it at that. So I say a little bit more about these. Yeah, also different parts. About 3 million sweat glands a person, and you make like half a liter. Does it say how much you make? You make like half a liter of sweat a day. It's gross. Functioning in thermoregulation, so really cooling. Activated by the sympathetic nervous system, that is your fight or flight. Oh, not fight or flight. I'm like, what? Fight or flight? You know, when you're nervous, you sweat. And what is sweat? Mostly water, some ions, a little vitamin C, antibodies. You have an antimicrobial agent called dermcidin. I feel like I'm missing an I in there. I don't know, dermcidin. And some metabolic waste. So it is one way to excrete things. Apocrine are the ones that are associated with your armpits and your genital area, active at puberty. They're larger, they're more viscous, thicker secretion, contributing to body odor. Once you get a little bacterial interaction, modified sweat glands are your mammary glands that make milk. Think about that when you're dunking your Oreo into a cup full of modified sweat, aka milk. I guess I'll take a little frozen sweatsicle. I don't know. That's just crazy. But we're moving on. Oil glands to keep you pliable, sweat glands for body temperature regulation. Keep those functions separate. They're important. Quick little review. We have the epidermis, the dermis, the hypodermis. The hypodermis consists of adipose tissue. The epidermis has the 4 or 5 layers, depending on if it's thick or thin. It has 4 cell types. You want to make sure you know all that. And then when we talk about the dermis, we have the upper, more superficial papillary region with these dermal papilla, papillary ridges. We have the deeper reticular layer that has everything else in it: sweat glands, nerve cells, oil glands associated with the hair follicles, and that sort of thing. All right, now we go to nails. When we talk about a nail, we always want to think about it in 2 views. But we can start with, you guys know your nail. When you look at your fingernail, you have the free edge. This is the edge that's kind of going past your finger that you cut or that you chew. Don't chew your nails. You have the bulk of the nail is the nail body. You kind of have this area in here that looks like a half moon. That's the lunula. And then you have your cuticle sealing this fingernail to the epidermis. Under the skin is where you have the root. Okay, so let's go here. So we have the free edge extending past it. We have the nail body. We have the lunula. We have, I'm going to call it cuticle. You can call it eponychium. That is this part here, right? Sometimes you push down your cuticles. And then if this is the free edge here, this is the nail body. Down here, under the skin, is the nail root, okay? Those are the regions of the nail. Underneath the nail, I love this picture, we have the nail bed. The nail bed is underneath it, and then underneath it also, outside of the root, is this nail matrix. So the nail matrix is what has cells dividing, which is making the new nail. So this root is pushing out No, I'm trying to draw an arrow. And unsuccessfully. This nail matrix, just like hair matrix made hair, nail matrix makes nail root. And then as your nail grows, right, it grows outward. I'm sure many of us have slammed our nail in a door way down here, and then it takes like 6 months for it to grow up and out. This is actually just a finger bone. And the nail is actually an epidermal extension, but that's no big deal. There's another region under the nail. If you chew your nails and you get too deep and it hurts, that's this hyponychium that attaches the nail to the fingertip as to seal the nail down so nothing can get underneath the nail. But I care about free edge, nail body, lunula, cuticle, nail root, nail bed, nail matrix. All right. I think that's pretty much it. Hyponychium is kind of like a flower on the frosting on the cake. So we will be drawing nails in lab when we do the skin. I think that's about it. Okay. Thin skin and thick skin. Oh yeah, did I say I was going to do functions in this lecture? It's 20 minutes. Okay, functions and let's do functions. I've only been talking for 20 minutes. What do we even need our skin for? Well, obviously, we've been talking about it a little bit. We need it to regulate our body temperature. We have the sweat glands for when we're hot. We can make our blood go deeper or more to the surface, blood to surface also for some cooling. Blood flow, blood vessels deeper to keep heat. All right, and we have it as a place where blood hangs out in your skin. It is a physical barrier. It is a physical barrier because it physically blocks things from getting inside of us. It is a chemical barrier because, like we saw, sweat and oil have some toxic properties or bacteria. It is a biological barrier. I should have really expanded this because we have those Langerhans cells in our epidermis, keeping out the nasties. Okay, that white blood cell. So that's why it's considered also a biological barrier. So if it's a biological barrier, a chemical barrier, physical barrier, all of these are contributing to protection. We have cutaneous sensation, all of those different sensory organs of free nerve endings and encapsulated ones for temperature, warm, cold, pain, tickle, itch, light touch, and pressure. Those are called general sensations, general senses, because then the specialized senses are like your 5 special senses of vision and hearing and smell and taste and I don't remember. I'm not sure. Okay. We excrete some waste through sweat. You know I'm not a fan of that one. It's not our main avenue for getting rid of waste. And we absorb some things through our skin. It is also how we make vitamin D active. And remember, we need vitamin D to help absorb milk. Helps calcium be absorbed in the digestive system across the small intestine. Alrighty. What else? Oh, so this is just telling you a little bit about it. Okay, so many blood vessels holds about 10% of your blood flow while you're just sitting there listening to me yammer. Protection. Oh, we have the physical barrier. Where am I? We had the biological barrier of the Langerhans cells in the epidermis. I guess I already talked about this. You even have blocking of damaging UV rays because of the melanocytes. Boy, there's a lot of functions here. I have, oh, it's doing that. Nope. Okay. I have sweat that's acidic. I have the oil and also keratin to prevent the dehydration as part of protection. Sensations, touch, pressure, oh yeah, vibration, tickle, itch, warm, cool, and pain are all different types of cutaneous sensations. Getting rid of some nitrogenous waste. But really, kidneys are where it's at, people. Are key for that. Oh my gosh. Okay. And synthesis of vitamin D, which we already talked about. Oh, well, let's stop here. And we'll start up with wound healing and all other sorts of skin issues in the next lecture. So, guys, bye for now.